Blessings, everybody. This is Dale. Thank you so much for joining with me today on the Word Podcast. We are in 1 Corinthians chapter 16 at the very end of the letter. So I do thank you for your perseverance, for your faithfulness, and pressing on in the Word. Sometimes these letters can be long, but they're good, okay? And actually, it doesn't take that long to sit down and read through one of them, okay, to sit down and listen to one of them. You could read through 1 Corinthians. You could sit down and listen to 1 Corinthians and read along while somebody else reads it, which is a great way to take in the Word of God. You could easily do that in the space of time that we give to a movie, okay, or space of time that we give to watching a sporting event or something like that. And so anyway, I thank you for that. We left off in the previous episode with the 13th verse of the 16th chapter. Let me read it again. Paul is giving final instructions, exhortations, encouragements. He says this: be on the alert, stand firm in the faith, act like men, be strong. That's all one sentence, though you could, break it up into 4 sentences, right? Boy, that's some pretty hearty directives right there, are they not? Let me read it again. Be on the alert. Stand firm in the faith. Act like men. Be strong. So just look at the things that are being declared there. Alertness. Firmness in the faith. Act. In other words, just don't sit back. Be strong. And boy, when you read this kind of thing, it's like, wow, this is a manly man. And that's true. There's a lot of truth to that. But sometimes we come along, we think that it brings forth the idea of a caveman, that it's just brute force. You're doing this and doing that. The next verse qualifies it all. And he's picking up something that he had said actually in the first verse of the 14th chapter. Verse 14, he says, let all that you be, let me read it again. Let all that you do be done in love. Yeah, you knew that was coming, right? In the 14th chapter, he says, hey, pursue love. Pursue love. Here he's saying, be on the alert, but do so in love. Stand firm in the faith, but do so in love. Act like men, but do so in love. Be strong, but do so in love. Everything is to be done in love. Love one another. Remember what Jesus said. The world will know that you are my disciples by your love for one another. I mean, that's one of the most powerful things ever. So, love one another. We press on, verse 15. Paul says this, now, I urge you, brethren, and then he has this little parenthetical statement right here. You know the household of Stephanas, that they were the first fruits of Achaia, and that they have devoted themselves for ministry to the saints, then close a little bracket, that you also be in subjection to such men and to everyone who helps in work and labors. So what's he talking about? Well, they knew exactly what he's talking about. And let me just read the next verse and it'll help a little bit. He says, I rejoice over the coming of Stephanas and Fortunatus and Achaicus, because they have supplied what was lacking on your part. I know. You can read these statements of Paul and you think, well, man, that sounds sort of arrogant. That sounds sort of less than loving. No. He's just being forthright, and he's just speaking, and he's saying things in a way that they would understand that he understood. So here's what's going on. The church had sent some supplies to Paul. Okay, they had sent whatever it may be. More than likely, it was financial resources. Okay, and they sent financial resources to Paul, and he was at Ephesus at this time when he was writing. And they sent it at the hand of Stephanas and Fortunatus and Achaicus. Those 3 guys took this gift down here. And so he's saying, I urge you, brethren, and then he has that little parenthetical statement about the household of Stephanas. And he says, Stephanas, they were the first fruits of Achaia, that region where y'all lived there in Corinth. They were the first ones, his household were the first ones that believed in the faith. They were the first ones saved. And you know what they have done? How that household has devoted themselves into helping the saints. And he uses the phrase devoted themselves for ministry to the saints. Again, That's a great word. Ministry is great. A diakonia. So where we get the word a deacon, it's the same word. It just means service. It means help. But we come along in our usage. We don't do it maliciously, and we don't do it with ill intent or anything. But we come along and we wind up superimposing definitions to these terms. So in our society, we'll go, well, he's in the ministry. Oh, gosh, give me a break, okay? Or, he's called to the ministry. Well, this is true. These are biblical terms. But the way we use them, it just makes me cringe, And I try not to use the terms in that way because it communicates something wrong. It communicates the idea that only a select type of people and a select kind of believer are in the ministry. Oh, no. Everyone who's truly saved is, quote, in the ministry, unquote. We serve one another. We love one another. We help with one another. So I just want to drive home that point because it gets so perverted in so many different ways. And like I said, a lot of times it's not with ill intent or anything. I know that. But let me tell you what, from the perspective of those who are called by such, sometimes it is. I mean, I don't know how many times that people will sit there and say, well, I'm in the ministry, or I am a reverend. And they'll introduce themselves as Reverend so-and-so. And that one, just think about that. Oh, I'm the one that is to be revered. You are to revere me. Really, really, really. Now, if somebody calls you that and that's sort of your role and function within the body, that's fine. That's fine. But, and I'm glad to say that through the years that has become less and less and less. And you see people all the time that really are walking in humility before one another. But wait. There's more. Remember what he said right here. Verse 16, that you also be in subjection to such men and to everyone who helps in the work and labors. What? Now, in our culture, in our society, the second you see that word subjection, people are going to start freaking out on you, right? They're going, I'm not going to be in subjection to anything. The word means hypotasso, and it means to subject yourself, to be subordinate. And, you're thinking, well, you're not really helping my attitude right here with these word definitions. Well, part of it may be our attitude, but it literally means this, folks. It literally means to be placed and ordered. It literally means to align yourself with. And he's saying, you know what? Align yourself with these type of men. Align yourself with such men. And watch this. And to everyone who helps in the work and labor. We are all, as believers, to align ourselves with one another as we help in the work and labor. And particularly folks like us, who was this? Yeah, Stephanus here. And Fortunatus. Fortunatus. His name is, in the Greek is actually fortuitous, which means exactly that, fortunate. He says, hey, align yourself with these kind of guys. Work together with these guys. Put yourself in order with these guys. Some may be leading ahead of you, and you may be placing yourself under, quote, under, unquote, somebody, because we are all together in the body, but we all have roles, functionings, empowerments by the Spirit, giftedness by the Spirit. And so if you're wanting to sit there and learn how to make curtains, please don't align yourself with me because I know nothing about that. I'm thinking of my dear friend who's now in glory, Alma, who could make anything like that. Now, if you want to know something about all those little black things you put on the page that we turn into music, I can help you with that. Okay? But we all have gifts and callings. But he's saying, align yourself, put yourself under such men, everyone who helps in the work and the labor. He's urging them to do this because he says, you know what? This is how the body functions together. Well, I'll tell you what, my time's up. We'll probably close out 1 Corinthians in the next episode. I'll see y'all then. Goodbye.